In this episode, we'll hear that Lucy Letby says she wasn't in the room when several of the babies collapsed,
She'll also dispute the evidence of doctors and nurses on the unit.
and says she found it harrowing when 2 triplets died after she returned to work from Ibiza.
We'll also tell you what she said when asked directly if she'd attacked babies.
Welcome to episode 34. I've only ever done my best. She returned to court and her defence barrister Ben Myers KC continued asking her questions about the specific allegations in relation to the other babies in this case, babies G to Q. And just to recap, he's taking her through the charges against her, one by one. And remember, there are 22 of them, 7 charges of murder and 15 of attempted murder against 17 babies. And that's because she's accused of trying to murder some of the babies several times.
So what we'll do today is outline what Lucy Letby said about each of those allegations and why she says she's not responsible.
So this week began with the charges relating to baby G.
Just to remind you, baby G is a girl and she was born extremely prematurely. Her birth was traumatic because her mother went into labour at just 23 weeks. That's 17 weeks early. And she was actually born in a hospital toilet.
But despite being born so early and weighing just over a pound, baby G overcame a lot of problems in the first few weeks of her life, and she was described by her mother as a fighter. So Mr. Myers started by asking Lucy Letby about the night shift of September the 6th. Now, the following day was a significant one for baby G, because it was her 100th day of life, and the courts heard that nurses on the unit, including Lucy Letby, had prepared a banner and brought a cake to celebrate.
But instead of it being a day of celebration, September the 7th was a day of worry for her parents because in the early hours, at around 2:15 a.m, she projectile vomited violently and then collapsed.
Mr. Myers asked Lucy Letby what she remembered about the vomiting event. This exchange begins with Lucy Letby and has been voiced by actors.
My memory is myself and Ailsa were sat at the nursing station and we heard baby G's monitor alarming in nursery 2. We also heard quite a loud retching noise, which we thought was unusual, so we both went very quickly into her. She was vomiting from her mouth and nose and struggling to breathe. We were both quite shocked, as looking around the scene, there was vomit adjacent to the cot side and on the floor. That is something we had not seen before.
Anyone with her when you went in there?
No.
Do you recall having any contact with the baby G on this shift prior to the vomiting episode?
No.
Do you recall what you had been doing before you were at the nursing station with Elsa?
No.
Baby G was given oxygen, but continued to deteriorate and was put on a ventilator before being transferred to nearby Arrow Park Hospital. But she was well enough to return to the Countess on September the 16th. And 5 days later, on September the 21st, the prosecution say Lucy Letby tried to kill her twice more. Now this day was also significant because it was baby G's due date, the date she should have been born if she hadn't come early.
On this shift, Lucy Letby was baby G's designated nurse, but she was also looking after 3 other babies in nursery 4. So Mr. Myers asked her about what she remembered about what happened at 10 a.m.
And she told the court she was not with baby G at that time. She said she thought she was tending to one of the other babies in the same room when baby G vomited, around an hour after she'd fed her some milk. She said she was alerted that she'd stopped breathing by the monitor sounding, but baby G quickly stabilised and there was no need for an emergency crash call or a shout for help, she said.
Baby G's care was then transferred to a more senior nurse, but just before 3:30 in the afternoon, Lucy Letby told jurors she happened to check in on baby G, who was behind a privacy screen that was there so doctors could fit a new cannula. She told jurors she found baby G alone and not breathing again.
I can't remember why I happened to catch sight behind the screen and saw that she was on her own. She was dusky, blue, and not breathing.
What about the monitor?
The monitor wasn't on.
What did you do when you found her in that position?
She was on the procedure trolley, which is a flat bed with no sides, and I put her into the cot and immediately started neopuffing.
Should she have been left on the procedure trolley?
No, that's not standard practice at all. I was very concerned about it.
Yes. Explain to us why.
3 issues, really. We would never leave a baby unattended on a procedure trolley, unattended behind a screen or without a monitor on, and those 3 things had happened. I was quite concerned that she had been left in that position.